Good morning, class. So, coming back to the story, a boy's best friend. Up till now, we saw that Mrs. and Mr. Anderson, along with their son Jimmy, they reside in the lunar city up there on the moon. Now, Jimmy has a machine dog. It is called Robot here, and his parents have decided to import something for him from the earth itself, which is causing to be too expensive for them. So here, when we ended the last video, we saw that the story is all about Jimmy and his friend Robot, or his dog, machine dog Robot, playing and at different places on the surface of the moon, and how they love each other, though Robot, being a machine dog, tries to wag its tail and show its love for Jimmy in some way or the other. So when we ended the story last time, we got to know that Jimmy once had pretended to be, he had pretended that he was hurt, and Robot, because he was a machine dog, he had sounded a radio alarm, and people from the lunar city had reached there quickly to take part in the rescue, when it turned out that it was a false call, that Jimmy's daddy had been very angry with him, and Jimmy had promised him that he will never make that mistake again. So Jimmy had not anticipated that him pretending to be hurt will result in so much of chaos in the lunar city, and he realized his mistake. Now let us see what happens now. They are back home, both Jimmy and his Robot. Jimmy was out of his spacesuit now and washed up. He always had to wash up after coming in from outside. Even Robot had to be sprayed, but he loved it. He stood there on all fours, his little foot-long body quivering and glowing just a tiny bit, and his small head with no mouth, with two large glassed-in eyes, and with a bump where the brain was. He squeaked until Mr. Anderson said, "Quiet, Robot." So, what is missing in Robot, which a normal dog will have? A mouth, because it doesn't need to speak as such, right? Or doesn't need to eat or drink anything. So, Jimmy and his machine dog Robot are back at home, and they are all washed up. Now, Mr. Anderson was smiling. "We have something for you, Jimmy. It's at the rocket station now, so we'll get to know what the surprise is all about for Jimmy. But we'll have it tomorrow after all the tests are over. I thought I'd tell you now." "From Earth, Dad?" So, Jimmy is full of questions. So, all these questions he has put in just two words. "From Earth, Dad?" "A dog from Earth, son, a real dog, a Scotch Terrier puppy." A Scotch Terrier is a kind of a breed. "The first dog on the moon. You won't need Robot anymore. We can't keep them both, and some other boy or girl will have Robot." So now we get to know that particular precious gift which had arrived from Earth was none other than a real dog for Jimmy. Jimmy, who was born in the lunar city on moon. He seemed to be waiting for Jimmy to say something. Then he said, "You know what a dog is, Jimmy." So who was waiting? Mr. Anderson. He expected his son to jump up with joy because he was getting a real dog. Everybody, all children are happy when they get pets as gifts. "You know what a dog is, Jimmy." So he wanted to confirm, Jimmy, what it is. He thought that maybe Jimmy, not being an earth boy, has forgotten what a real dog is like. Of course, Jimmy has seen photos of real dogs, heard about them from his parents also. "It's the real thing. Robot's only a mechanical imitation or a mechanical copy. A robot mutt. That's how he got his name." Jimmy frowned. "Robot isn't an imitation, Dad. He's my dog." So Mr. Anderson was not expecting this kind of reaction from Jimmy. So Jimmy doesn't want to lose his Robot. He doesn't want to get the real dog or own a real dog. He was happy with his robot. Not a real one, Jimmy. Robots just steel and wiring and a simple positronic brain. It's not alive. He does everything I want him to do, Dad. He understands me. Sure, he's alive. So, according to Jimmy, he says if he does everything, whatever he tells him to do, and he understands him, then to him it is alive. See, Jimmy is not an ordinary human being. He, though, is human being, but he was born on the moon. So, his thinking is also futuristic. No, son, robot is just a machine. It's just programmed to act the way it does. A dog is alive. You won't want robot after you have the dog. So Mr. Anderson is trying to convince Jimmy that robot is just a machine and not a real dog. And once when he'll get to know a real dog, he will no longer need robot. The dog will need a space suit, won't he? Yes, of course. But it will be worth the money and he'll get used to it. So the way human beings cannot survive in the thin atmosphere of the moon and they need a special space suit once they go out of the protection of the lunar city, similarly the dog will also need a space suit. And he won't need one in the city. You'll see the difference once he gets here. So the father tries and tells Jimmy that he will only be wearing the real dog will only be wearing a space suit once he is out of the city, lunar city. Like the way Jimmy has to wear his spacesuit once he is out of the city. Jimmy looked at Robert, who was squeaking again, a very slow squeak that seemed frightened. So, see, though he is not alive, he is not a real dog, but Robert can understand there is some serious discussion which involves him. And maybe we don't know. He understood that he no longer will be a part of his friend Jimmy's life. Jimmy held out his arms and Robert was in them in one bound. So just like an ordinary, regular, alive dog, Jimmy and Robert Robert behaved the same way a normal dog would have, and when Jimmy held out his arms, Robert jumped into them. Jimmy said, "What will the difference be between Robert and the dog?" "It's hard to explain," said Mr. Anderson. "But it will be easy to see. The dog will really love you. Robot is just adjusted to act as though it loves you." So, the robot, according to Mr. Anderson, was programmed to love Jimmy. But the real dog doesn't need to be programmed. It just needs to be treated kindly and affectionately. "But Dad, we don't know what's inside the dog or what his feelings are. Maybe it's just acting too." So, Jimmy here is not convinced. He is telling his dad that maybe he too is programmed to act like that, because Jimmy has never been around a real dog, so he is not convinced. Mr. Anderson frowned. "Jimmy, you will know the difference when you experience the love of a living thing." So the father is all for the real dog, but Jimmy is not convinced. The difference being because the father has known love and affection from a real dog, whereas Jimmy hasn't. Father, both Mr. and Mrs. Anderson, they were earth creatures. They were born on the moon they were born on the earth, and then later on they migrated to the moon. Whereas Jimmy, being born on the moon, had never known things like dog on the moon. He only knew about Robert, and he was equally fond of him. Now, Jimmy held Robert tightly. He was frowning too, and the desperate look on his face meant that he wouldn't change his mind. So he was desperate. He was sad also he was sure that he will not change his mind. He did not want a real dog in place of his beloved Robert. He said, "But what's the difference? How they act? How about how I feel?" Now, when he had run out of all kind of arguments with his father, finally he tells him, "But how does it matter? How do the dogs feel? How does Robert feel, or how will the real dog feel? How about my feelings?" Whose feeling? Jimmy's feelings. "I love Robert, and that's what counts. And what is more important is that I love Robert." And when he said this, then Mr. Anderson had nothing further to say. And the little robot mutt, which had never been held so tightly in all its existence since the time it had been manufactured, squeaked high and rapid squeaks, happy squeaks. So he may not have been able to bark like a normal dog, but then it squeaked its pleasure, its happiness that Jimmy loved him the same. So this was the sci-fi story, and Isaac Asimov, as we learned earlier when we started the chapter, he is Russian born and he is a prolific writer of science fiction. I hope you have enjoyed the story. Now children, working with words. I'll be uploading the literature work for these. So I'll be uploading the meanings of these particular words and you have to use them in sentences of your own. Then we will be have these words being spelled correctly. This you have to do on your own on page number 105. Wherever the spellings are spelled incorrectly, children, you have to write the correct spelling over there. Then they have used the suffix IC, as in the word positronic. It is used to form adjectives from nouns with the meaning of or pertaining to. Now, what do the following words mean? Consult a dictionary. Myopic, claustrophobic, anesthetic, peripatetic, and psychic. All these words you have to find out their meaning and write them down in your textbook only. Then you have to make adjectives from the following by adding the suffix IC. Then the spelling accordingly will also change. Please do this also. Exercise 2, 3 and 4 is to be done in the textbook taking help of the dictionary. Now, learning about language, coordinating conjunctions. I have already uploaded 2 exercises over there, and of subordinating conjunctions also. Now children, exercise 2 given on page number 106. Join the following pairs of sentences together using a different subordinating conjunction in each sentence. Say which is the main idea in each sentence you have written. This you have to do in your practice notebook. So as of now, this chapter has come to an end. I want you to do these particular exercises 2, 3, 4 on page number 105 and exercise number 2 on page number 106. This particular exercise on page number 106 will be done in your grammar practice notebooks, and I hope you have copied the letters, informal letters, given them a thorough study and copied them neatly in your fair grammar notebook. Thank you.